supposed to do one individual player. I only had one where I could narrow it down to Christian Welch. Is he going to make this team? Is there any snowball's chance in hell? I think that if there's any type of injury, that's his green light. But the way things are now, barring injury, I just don't know how they slip him on for the second year in a row, even though I do believe he deserves a spot if the cards were stacked a little differently.
Yeah, Emilio, let's talk about it, man. Linebacker last year, we broke camp with 5. It was Quay, Isaiah McDuffie, Eric Wilson, Adrian Cooper, Tyron Hopper. Eric Wilson is now gone, right? So who's going to be that 5th backer? If we look at the roster here, Adrian Cooper, Tyron Hopper, Quay Walker, Isaiah McDuffie. I'm keeping Isaiah Simmons over Christian Welch. That's just me. And you keep in mind, too, with Isaiah Simmons, the reason he is so interesting, and it's not going to show here.
Round 1, pick 8.
Yep.
I was trying to find his special teams grade. It's not. Let's see if it's going to pull it up in a separate window. No, maybe not. I want to say his special teams grade was pretty good last year. Of course, they're going to give us all the same thing, just in a different format. I want to say he graded out in like the 80s special teams or something.
Did he?
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. So if that's the case and he continues, I mean, you're talking about this special teams unit really, really improving. I know the question was about Christian Welch, but to me, the special teams value in Isaiah Simmons, what it comes down to, remember, run it through the filter of the 70-man roster. Which one makes it to the practice squad, Christian Welch or Isaiah Simmons? I think it'd be Christian Welch. That would make it to the practice squad.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys know I like Christian Welch. Isn't he a hometown guy too, like from Wisconsin, if I remember correctly? So that's a really, really cool story there as well. What do you think, Emilio? Would you keep Christian Welch or Isaiah Simmons?
I feel like it's got to be Isaiah Simmons. Though I'm excited to see Dumas Johnson, see what he can do out there. I do think that there's a little bit of a battle there in the linebacker spot that's not set in stone. You can still make your name heard, and Rich does like the special teamers of that linebacker kind of build. We need a little bit bigger than a cornerback or a safety. We need a couple of those guys that are going to stick their nose in it on the kickoff and punt coverage, stuff like that. So I would say Isaiah Simmons at the moment, but I also am excited for JDJ to see what happens.
Man, I'll tell you what, though, United Bates, a.k.a. Jamie, coming in with the info here. He says that 88.2 PFF grade for special teams last year for Mr. Isaiah Simmons.
Heard it from a fan right here.
That he's on the team. Sign him right up.
Gotta be, yeah. So that's the route I would go. Now, would they try to make a case to carry 6 and 1 be Christian Welch? I just don't see that happening. I think they would rather carry an extra receiver or maybe an extra corner type thing.
And if you just take those top 5, Clay, how much speed is in that group of 5 players right there, speed-wise?
Yeah,
linebacking crew.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about RAS is through the roof, man. Adrian Cooper, 9 in the 9s, right? I want to say Tyron Hopper, did he not run like a 4.40 or something crazy? Am I thinking right?
Let us know, Bates.
I'm pretty sure he's fast. I'm pretty sure I would say 4 out of the 5 are all 9 RASs in there.
Yeah, Bates, get us his RAS, man, the 40-yard dash if you can. Jamie, look that up.
McDuffie might be the only one that's not a 9 or higher RAS.
Yeah, because I know Adrian Cooper 9+, Quay Walker 9+, Isaiah Simmons 9+. I mean it's wild, man, wild to think about. So, anything else on the linebacker room as we wait on Bates to come in with the 40-yard dash?
Oh, yeah,
okay, there you go.
That's not terrible, but I thought he was a little quicker for sure. But that's probably why he fell a little bit, because that is a little slow nowadays.
We had him significantly lower on our board than Goody did. Obviously, Goody had a 3rd-round grade on him. So
that's why.
Yep.
There we go.
Bates here. Packers have allegedly timed him closer to 4 or 5.
That's where I got Goody talking about that. Yeah. Go ahead, Amelia. I'm sorry, man.
No. I was just gonna say maybe he's a little tight for the pro day and the RAS and everything, but that's exactly where you must have got it from, Clay.
All right.
And Respect Orange just said he had a 7.42 RAS, so not anything crazy, but definitely
he would have got a point.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to do one more?
Yeah, let's do one more, man. So
this one we've kind of talked about recently, well, quite a bit. That final wide receiver spot between maybe Heath and Hardman. However, I put an asterisk and I put Wicks as well. Not that he's not going to make the team, not that he's, going to get cut, nothing like that. But apparently he's been kind of down in the dumps. I don't know if you've listened to a couple of people have actually said that at one point. I can't remember who it was. If it was Bo or one of the other players walked up to him, maybe it was Bird or something, and said, "Hey man, I need to see you smile." Like Romeo. That's what it was. And when Romeo Dobbs is telling you that you need to smile more, that means that you probably, maybe look a little gloom.
Need to smile more.
That perked up to me because I remember when Wicks first came out, and there was a lot of uneasiness with him. I'll never forget when he was walking off the sidelines after missing a play or whatever he did, and Aaron Jones literally grabbed his head and held his head up and like basically dusted him off and said, "Come on, man, like get back to work here." And I'm having a sneaking suspicion that guy maybe battles some interior mental stuff. Like, I'm not putting that on him. I'm just saying that maybe some confidence is more what I'm looking at right now. And now the fact that he's dealing with some injuries feels like he's behind the 8 ball. He's watching all his friends, his teammates go out there and progressing each day in practice. Now getting into the preseason games. I am worried about his confidence level and him not carrying that baggage into the regular season. Now, that being said, I think it does come down between Heath and Hardman, and that to me is got to be one of the hardest cuts to make because they're just so different from what they bring to the team, and they both are really good at different avenues. Obviously, with Hardman being kind of that home run hitter, special teams possibility there, big time moments, had great camp. Been a great locker room guy, great with the community. I think he's got 3 rings. He's won the Super Bowl on one of his plays, last minute type thing. And then you got Heath, who's just an absolute stud, blocking guy, hands, the possession type receiver, willing to do pretty much whatever Matt LaFleur is asking him to do. I just don't honestly know what I would do. I'm leaning more towards Hardman, and that breaks my heart because I'm such a big Malik Heath fan.
Yeah. And, it kind of goes back to the offensive line conversation we had where we're like, hey, you know what? Just carry 9 and stash 3 of those guys on the practice squad. If you do that, then you can break camp with 7 receivers as opposed to 6, right? Now, there's other positions you may want to do the same thing. So, that may X that out. But last year we did break camp with 6. So if you were to break with 6 this year, you're looking at Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Dontavion Wicks, right? That's 4. Matthew Golden, Savion Williams. There's your 6. So your 7th, hands down, would be Malik Heath, in my opinion, right? So that's what it's going to come down to. And here's the other thing. Do any of these players start? We didn't say Christian Watson, right? So he's starting on PUP, right? Would one of these other guys potentially start on PUP? That's the question, too. And it kind of leads to what Packer Up says here in the chat. I don't want to take that off there. I'll leave yours up, Jacob. Packer Up in the chat. No, you're good. Leave it up. Don't lose it. He said, Savion good to go tomorrow night. Packer Up asked that. I think so, but I'm not 100% sure. Now, we found out, I was listening to Wildy and Tausch earlier today, and they said he played his entire senior year at TCU with a torn labrum.
Jeez.
Yeah, and that's why he came into camp with the shoulder harness and everything, and they went and had surgery. How tough of a SOB do you have to be to play all year long? I think that's what they said was labrum. You guys double check me on that, but I think they said torn labrum. That's insanity. And to see how physical he played.
That's
remember the play where Wildcat quarterback? He literally rushed into a pile, spun out of it. There was dirt kicking dust and those pellets kicking everywhere. And Savion comes out of the pile, and there's just bodies laying everywhere. He had a torn labrum doing that. So
he's a mean runner. He is a mean runner with the football on his hands. And, I'm excited to see him get some touches on offense. Obviously, he was a little bit behind. I think Jordan was talking about, he missed OTAs, right, because of the injury. So him catching up in training camp, obviously a touch behind. But you got Matthew Golden there. You got another rookie that can help you. All these receivers are basically young guys that have come up and done it. And Mecole Hardman's been a savvy vet just to be there. My question is, even if we do bring in 7, who's the one that leaves when Christian Watson comes back? We're at some point going to have to thin this back down one more time. We're already having a problem cutting it to our numbers.
Right. That's a great point. Go ahead with that comment, Jake, if you pulled up.
Yeah, Respect Orange just says Hardman's experience at the big game will help everyone else as well. I think that's a great point. We've been the youngest team now for multiple years in a row. Specifically, that wide receiver room has been very, very, very young, very unexperienced. But I would argue now that they're probably the most experienced youth group maybe in the whole NFL. I mean, they've actually seen, playoff games. We've seen some multiple some of them have seen 13-win seasons. Some of them have seen what it takes to actually have to kind of bite some kneecaps, as Dan Campbell says, and really scrap at the end of the season to try to even make a playoff berth. So I think we got a lot of good experience, but having a guy like Mecole Hardman just dropped into that room with Super Bowl experience, winning Super Bowl experience, that is a whole different level of ball game there.
Yeah, I agree, man. And again, when you look at the PFF grades, I know you don't see any 80s here. You see a couple 70s. But look how steady it is, Emilio. 68, 69, 70, 68. Minimal snaps, grading out of 55, and then last year minimal snaps, but grading out of 72. And again, like they said, the game-winning touchdown catch in the Super Bowl, like you can't put a price on that, man. And we're getting this guy for like the veteran minimum as well. Right.
Consistently better than average and consistent in his scores, which is just shows the fact that the dude is a pro, a vet, comes to work, just puts his head down, goes on the grind. The fact that he played quarterback, 1 snap backfield, 6, inline 1, slot, he's versatile. That was in 100 snaps last year. So I love that that's an option that we can go to. I hope he kind of balls out. If he's going to be on this team, I'd love to see him kind of go off, get a little surge, get him back into the 70s and see where he goes.
Yeah. Jordan Dixon Reed in the chat says, I'm excited to see Golden. What's your all's take on Golden? What would, again, Jacob, I'm going to put the coach's hat back on you. It's raining tomorrow, right? Steady rain throughout the day, throughout the game. How many snaps are you playing our boy Matthew Golden? How many series? Let's put it that way. How many series are you playing Matthew Golden?
Honestly, I would want him to play the exact amount of snaps that Jordan Love plays.
Ooh, treat it like a vet, baby.
I really do mean it. It just right now he's flashed too well. I do not want anything hindering his success, his progression. I've seen enough in practice and drills that I believe he's the real deal. Now I want to just keep him healthy so that we have him week 1. So whatever that means, if he's comfortable, if they're comfortable having Love out there, whatever the weather may be in the scenario, I feel like they should definitely be comfortable with Golden. But the second they pull Love, I want the Golden boy to go with them too.
Yeah,
and this game specifically, right, Clay? Like we don't need to see all the vets and the the perceived first starters and all that. We don't need them for 100 reps this game. It would be the third game that we would kind of want to push them into maybe a quarter and a half, 2 quarters, something like that if they need those reps.
Yeah, Packer up says 1 series or 8 to 10 plays max, and it would be different, right, Jacob? Like if he had struggled in camp, all right, we got to get him going. We got to get him acclimated. He's been freaking dominant. So let's just kind of, you're good, man. You're going to run with the ones. And the good thing about that is, you got to kind of be careful with that stuff, especially with the young players. Sometimes if you get someone who comes in and they're somewhat cocky, like think of like a DK Metcalf when he came in the league, right? Yeah. He was this dude that just kind of had this aura about him. Like, I'm just a guy. I'm the guy, right? Not that he's a bad player, a bad person. I'm not trying to say that, but think of that type of player coming in the league. You would almost you wouldn't want to ruin him from a standpoint of, okay, we're basically letting him know he's arrived already, but you've seen the way he's carried himself, man. Like he is just all about ball, all about work, all about doing things the right way. QB1 is just raving over him. Like this dude is polished, he's legit, he's works his ass off the whole 9 yards. It would be different if he's struggling in camp. The fact that he's played so well in camp, yeah, I say run him just like he's a 1 and sit him down would be the way I would go.
Yeah, the way I would argue it is that imagine last year and before preseason even started, we knew what we had in Edgerrin Cooper. I would not want him out there taking multiple, you know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't want him playing a half in the preseason game. If we really saw the type of spark that we're like, hey man, this Edge Cooper guy is going to be an absolute stud, which I don't think, I don't know if anybody even on the podcast, I don't think we had that much hopes for him. And then it was about mid-season before everybody's like, holy crap. Like it went from kind of very quiet, not a lot of press, no like real acolytes, to legitimately people saying this is a future Hall of Famer, which that was so quick. And I feel the same type of vibe towards Mr. Golden, and I don't want to screw that up in the preseason.
Right. You don't want to talk too much about it.
Yeah.
Anything else on Matthew Golden there, Emilio? Anything else you want to add, man? Or maybe another receiver that you kind of like, all right, we've seen enough. We don't really have to get him out. Because I worry a little bit about Jaden Reed. Like I don't want to overuse him in the preseason either. You know what I mean? Like let's approach it from this direction, Emilio. Of all these receivers, Which three would you like to see get the most snaps where you can get a really good look at them, do you think? If everyone's healthy.
Yeah, I'd love to get a better look at Savion, but I don't know if I want him staying in the whole game. Let me see Isaiah out there just because we brought him in. Let me see Will Shepherd
Hicks.
and I think Hicks. I was going to say Cornelius Johnson, but I would say those three right now. If you want me to pick three that I want out earlier, it would be Jaden Reed, Romeo, and Matthew Golden.
Yeah, and we're just throwing Dontavion Wicks to the side, aren't we? Like,
and I'm not, and it's not.
Well, he's not going to play though, right?
I want to see some reps.
That's true. That's true. That's a great point, Jacob. Yeah. Go ahead, Emilio. What was you saying, man?
No, I was just saying I want to see some reps for Wicks. I want him to kind of knock off whatever that rust or whatever is kind of sitting on his shoulder right now. Just take a couple reps, take a couple hits, catch some, catch a couple crossers, whatever you need to do to make that happen. Because I want him going into the season feeling good, feeling like everyone's part of this team. They're all going to make a difference. But right now, I just don't want him to be, down or anything like that if he is.
Yeah. Hardy, the prophet with the super chat. Thank you so much, Hardy. He says, I told y'all star density equals competition plus competitive spirit. The competition is fierce, and Matt Golden's spirit is vicious, man. That's philosophical right there.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
It is. Couldn't ever think of anything like that. You know what I'd say? That's the equivalent to that in my dumb language. I'd say I'm really excited about Matthew Golden. That's about all I got. So thank you for the super chat, Hardy. You're the man. What else we got, Jacob? You know what? We're already over the hour mark. Let's skip the chalk talk and let's just keep talking roster. I mean, I think this is a good conversation to have on the eve of the first preseason game. You know what I mean? That's good stuff.
I've got my final one, which was 9th. Camp battles / position battles. We did touch on this one as well earlier this week slightly, but I'm interested if anybody's opinion has changed. Stackhouse, Brinson, and Wooden. If you had to pick a guy that's off the ball or if you could sneak 2 on, or which one of those guys do you think he could sneak on the practice squad, if any? Because I'd argue that Wooden's got too much film. Brinson's got too high a draft degree.
That's tough.
And Stackhouse has put too much hype into the preseason right now.
Let's start with what we broke camp with, all right?
Please.
We broke camp last year with 5. And keep in mind, injured reserve, designated return was Jonathan Ford. Not that it matters. I think he ended up getting poached anyway. So 5 is what we broke camp with. It was Kenny Clark, TJ Slayton, Devontae White, Carl Brooks, Kobe Wooden. Go ahead, Amelia. What are you thinking?
I wanted that information before I said anything because I could sound stupid. But so we got 5 going in. Let's see. He was a 4th round pick. That is true. I mean, that's premium. That's premium there.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I remember when we went through the previous draft picks, when we went through the past 4 years prior, how many people 3 years prior on that team are still, drafted, are still on the team? It wasn't a lot. So I think this is. I honestly think the preseason is going to be if Wood makes a team or not. Like, he needs to show up. And I love the dude. He saved us. He blocked a field goal. I mean, he's done the things to keep us in the game. He's had meaningful reps. With the 5, you got Devontae, Carl, Kenny. Man, and I want to say Nazir and Brinson, but Nazir and Warren, but
think about this from other teams' perspective. All right, think about it from all the other 31 teams. We're all sitting here saying, including myself, man, Nazir Stackhouse is a lock. He's a lock. He's a lock. Yeah, just put Kobe Wooden on the practice squad. If we drafted him in the 4th round, let's say there were a half a dozen other teams that had a 5th round or higher grade on him, right? He's going to be more likely to get poached than someone who was undrafted in Nazir Stackhouse. You understand what I'm saying? The only thing that's changed is camp. And believe me, the other 31 teams, they're watching camp. They're getting the updates just like we are. And they may be like, man, it's Nazir Stackhouse. We kind of felt good about him, but we passed up on him in the draft. Let's go get him. That could happen. But if I had to bet the farm and saying which one would get poached first, Kobe Wooden or Nazir Stackhouse, I would probably have to say Kobe Wooden, although I like Stackhouse better. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I don't know, man. So Coach Len is saying he'd try to get Brinson on the practice squad. Wasn't Brinson a 5th rounder, or was he a 6th?
I believe. Let's see here. Yeah, 6th rounder.
Okay. I mean,
200 selection.
And I believe, though, the other wrinkle in here wasn't the projection that Brinson would be the UDFA and that Stackhouse would actually have the higher draft grade, I believe, is what I thought that was a thing, unless I'm making that up. But
I would have thought that just without looking at the board. But let me go to the board real quick because, like I said, Stackhouse is one of those interesting takes where he was very much so a highly touted draft pick going into his last year in college, and for whatever reason, he sank out of sight.
167 is Stackhouse. East-West Shrine Game with the cheese emoji.
What's Brinson?
Brinson was right below him at 178. East-West Shrine Game, cheese emoji, heart eye emoji.
Yeah,
So
so
they're 10 points different. They're based
one tier apart.
Yeah, 1 tier apart.
Yeah, you were right, Jacob. So we had Stackhouse 1 tier higher. Like you said, 167.2 is the grade on him. Low number of wins, guys. Warren Brinson, 178.7.
And both of them ahead of Tonka, Hemingway, Thor Griffith, if we remember any of them when we were going through the draft talk.
Thor. Where'd Thor end up? I want to know. Let's get him over here.
Great question. I got to look that up myself.
Joey Slackman, Joseph Evans. I mean, there's a chunk of them that kind of went as well that were after these guys.
Yeah.
Right.
What's the weight on Wooden? Can you pull up his weight on that, Clay? Let me see if I can look it up.
I don't know how accurate it is, but on PFF they're saying 273.
That's the only thing that's steering me off of Colby. If he's not able to bulk up and get to that 300, I think that's where they might be looking at. Hey, we have and the other thing is we lost TJ.
I was just gonna say somebody's got to be that TJ Slayton replacement, and I just don't see Wooden being that guy. I really do believe that'd be the Mr. Stackhouse.
Jacob's walking in there like it's Arby's. We have the beef, you know what I mean? And that's what we need out there.
Jacob. Thor Griffith was undrafted, and he was signed by the Seahawks on July 29th. It's wild. And he was one of these guys that PFF just had him through the roof.
He graded amazingly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of where we had him on our board because I want to say he was quite a bit lower.
Thor Griffith.
No, he's right below Warren Brinson, 181.
So he's gotcha. So just 1 tier below Warren Brinson. What is that? 3 points apart, less than 3 points apart?
Ooh. Bates is saying he was waived 2 days later on the 31st. Bring that man into camp.
Jacob said, boy, when I get Madden 26, first signing I'm making. Yeah, there you go.
How are you guys liking the new Madden, by the way? I haven't asked you.
Bro.
Oh, that's what we should have had is pull up the Packers depth chart on Madden and see what the top 5 players are.
Yeah, I got something for y'all right here. We're going to go off the rails. We got Tim. Any other position?